Welcome back, guys. Today we are doing an herb garden, most specifically a tea herb garden. I don't know about you guys, but I love tea. My husband likes tea. I have friends and family that love tea. I love herbs. I use them for medicinal purposes. I use them in my food. I use herbs all the time to collect the bees and the wasps and all of the pollinators. They love the herbs too. So it's a really good idea that if you have a garden and you have a garden that produces fruit of any kind, get you some herbs. They have beautiful blooms and they're just multifunctional and multi-purposeful. So let's get started. So first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna take our plants, we're gonna kind of squish them up a little bit, and I have kind of pre-placed where everything's gonna go. I'm gonna dig a little hole and plant them in there. Remember, you wanna go to really where you start meeting the leaves in the dirt, so dig down far enough to where you can get that far. Some of them I may need to split. When I need to split them, I'll show you how to do that.
Oh, 1 mile in fog patches and showers early Friday, but improving to greater than 6 miles on the...
All right, just pop it in there. This one, it's a little bit too tall, so what I'm gonna do is kind of come in and squish and rub this around a little bit, get it just to start to spread out a little bit. Be real gentle with it. You don't want to really rip through it. Once we get it in there, it'll start to settle too. That looks good. Bring the soil back in. Bring it back in. There we go. All right, and that'll give this one plenty of room to kind of spread out. This one is bee balm. I really like bee balm for several reasons. It's got a lot of different medicinal purposes, but it tastes really good in tea too. So you can dry the flowers and the leaves for that. And it's an amazing pollinator, like the name says, bee balm. So let's see. It needs full sun, 6+ hours. This definitely gets it. It's in the front of my house. My house is southeastern facing. So it definitely gets some good sun. It comes over this way like that. Let's see, it gets to about a height of 36 to 48 inches. If you want it, you can always prune it to the right depth. I can go in later too, and I can split it off and plant it into multiple places. This one's not super vining. What it's going to do is bush out, and I can actually help it do that a little bit more by the way I'm going to prune it. We'll have that in later videos though. So one down, a few more to go.
Dream a little dreamer.
Now then, this is probably my first favorite. If I had to list some, I don't know, maybe it's tied for first. But this is lemon balm, and lemon balm has amazing medicinal properties. It tastes delicious. When you get a second, Google lemon balm benefits. You will be amazed. It has been used for antiviral treatments for years and years and years. I've never had an opportunity to use it for that because I just haven't had it in a while because it froze and all of my stuff went dormant and died. So I'm really excited to have this back in my garden. Sad I had to buy it, but you do what you got to do to have what you love, right?
Spectacular at 7:30 noon.
All right, full disclosure, the plants that I thought were lemon balm were sweet mint. So I'm gonna have to reconfigure a few things, but I will show you how I do that. I already have a spearmint and I have a peppermint. Now apparently I have sweet mint. So as I'm planting the rest of this stuff out, I'm gonna think through this and we're gonna work this out together. Plus side is that Lowe's had 3, 4, 9, and I picked up a Mexican tarragon. Pretty excited about this. This is awesome for savory dishes. It has kind of a licoricey taste like, that's what I think. So it could be used in place of like star anise, or I'm trying to think of some other things that may taste like licorice. But it's an awesome additive to your tea too. It's got a lot of antimicrobial and antiviral properties as well. Added to fish, chicken, or as a little bit in a tea. And you get like a licoricey flavor. It's really good for coughs too, expectorants. So look it up. It's good stuff. Another little thought. When you're looking at the rootstock or the roots of a plant, what you're looking for is for them to be pretty white like this. You don't want them all sorts of tangled up on each other. This is a lot like the mint plant, where it will kind of branch out underneath the ground. You can already see some of it's trying to grow there. I use this all the time. That's why I'm going to plant two next to each other. And then what I'm going to do from there is just continue to propagate. So I may put some in another pot, or I love this everywhere. Lemon balm, like I said, is like my #1 favorite medicinal herb, and it's also my favorite tasting. I love lemon anything, and this just delivers just that amazingness. That's how I knew as soon as I took it out of the pot, the mint out of the pot, I smelled mint, and I was like, that's not right. And that's whenever I check the tag. So it's awesome. This one also, I look for, whenever I go into the stores, I look for something that's like about to outgrow its pot. I have the most success with that. I'm also a big believer in best bang for your buck, and I'm not trying to buy a stick whenever I could buy something like this, right? So you want to get the biggest, healthiest, greenest. Like some of them were light green, and I'm looking for like that deep green color. But anyway, so I'm splitting the bottom of it a little bit like that. I'm trying not to disturb it too much. Squish it up just a little bit, and then we'll stick it in there. This is super hardy. I have grown this by just pulling some of it off and sticking it in dirt, and it's gone really, really well. So lemon balm. What more can I say? Wanted to make a note about English thyme. This one, slow grower. It is. So down the road, if I'm not getting enough out of it, then I'll grow a little bit more. Best thing is that it's a super powerful herb. So thyme possesses something called thymol, and it is super antimicrobial, super antibacterial. Like, this stuff is incredible. This is an incredibly medicinal herb. It tastes amazing. It doesn't take much. A little dab will do you, and you get some amazing benefits from it. I love thyme. It is super healing. So in those times whenever you're under the weather, cold or anything like that, you can pop some fresh thyme or dried thyme into like some chicken soup or chicken broth, whatever you can stomach at the time, and it's going to be super healing for you. Amazing plant. So many years ago, whenever my father-in-law made this for me, what I did is I took some coconut coir, and actually this is a coconut basket, and it's made from the coconut coir, but I went ahead, it's one of those hanging baskets. They were on sale at like Home Depot over the winter time or something, so I picked a couple up because they go great for things that may have holes in the bottom of them, and you don't want the moisture to drain out too quickly. So I went ahead and I lined the bottoms here with that coconut material. It is awesome for the plants. It's good for the earth. This is really plentiful. So I don't know if you guys know that or not, but it's really, really good. Peat is a good option too. It's harder to get, and it's not a resource that's going to last us for a long time. So this we can continue to grow fairly easy, and it's a great alternative. But if you already have something on hand, use that. Don't go buy more stuff. This is great though. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the sweet mint that I've already bought, and we're going to take the, I forget which one this is, hold on. So, yeah, we're going to take the spearmint and we're going to put the spearmint up on this top one since it's already grown out a bunch. And if you look at the way it kind of grows, see how it's kind of going up? So we're going to do that. That's what we're going to do. This may change down the road and I might have to dig it all up, but for now, that's what we're going to do. Alright, so we're going to split this one up. This has been in this pot for a lot of years. You can even see the roots kind of coming out. This is a reiteration of seeding and reseeding and reseeding. This is what survived after the big freeze. So there's going to be a lot of roots that I've got to get through here. So just try and follow along. I'll try to walk you through it as I do it. It's going to be a little bit of surgery. But mint is super resilient, so you can be a little aggressive with it, if not a lot aggressive. So that is a good thing about this plant. Look how big those little runners are in there. It's still really healthy. It looks really good. We've got the nice white roots, but it's crazy how resilient this thing is. Alright, so there it is. You can see, zoom in if you can, the runners on this thing are incredible. And this thing has so much life in it. The roots are really nice and colorful. They're nice and white. There are some sections that I feel like I can split comfortably. Yeah, so let's see how it goes. Trim it down, we'll prune it. What you want to do when you're pruning is try to find where there's two leaves coming off the stem, and then there's, here, let me show you. Alright, so what we're going to do is when you're pruning mint, basil, lemon balm, really a lot of plants go by this rule of thumb. If you see here, we've got two leaves and then we've got some leaves coming out. So what I do to maintain a bushy plant is I come in that main stem there where you already have some leaves coming out, just cut it off. See, we've still got the leaves coming out of the side. I like to think of these as like sun, not dials, solar, there we go, solar panels for the plant. So this is going to soak up all that good sun. It's going to continue to help it go, but then we also have this new life coming in right here, and that's going to help it just continue to bush out. And you can do that as much or as little as you want. All right, I'm going to get cleaned up and show you what it all looks like, and we'll go through a little tour. You saw me kind of transferring it from container to container. What I have is I have a big 5-gallon pot that I fill up with like the oak leaves that fall in the wintertime, and then I top that with dirt, and so I make my own little compost. And I'll mix that in with some mushroom enriched compost, and that just helps break down any of the wood chips that are in there. And it makes this really, really awesome potting soil, raised bed soil. It's just super nutritious, and it's a great way to not waste your dirt. I also, as you saw, I save all of my pots. So I also, as you saw, I save all of my pots. I do a lot of seedlings, I do a lot of transplants, so it's really helpful to just keep these. If you don't, then figure out if your local trash dump will recycle these, and if not, then I would definitely call an extension office, because this is plastic and we don't want that ending up in the oceans or the landfills, right? All right, guys, so we're all done. The next project that we're gonna work on together is gonna be irrigation, and we're gonna finish irrigating this bed. It's got the raspberries, the blueberries. I'm gonna be putting okra. I'm gonna be putting Ozark cow peas, I think is what they are. So they're like a black-eyed pea, but they're a bush bean. So I thought that that would be nice in front of the raspberries. So now then, what I'm gonna do for the bed behind me is I have got some like perforated and non-perforated tubing, super small. It's gonna be great for this bed here. I'm gonna hook it up just to my configuration down here. That's gonna change once I get, you can see I've got the PVC kind of all set out. I've got, I went and got the fittings that I needed for it. And so that's all gonna get hooked up possibly tomorrow, but that's gonna be the next video. This, I'm gonna run along all of the plants here. I'm gonna come up behind it and work it that way. I'm gonna see if gravity can actually help me out a little bit by setting it up just on the top two, so that way that moisture will drip down to the bottom two, and we'll see how it goes. So come back for the next video. If you've liked this so far, hit the like and subscribe button. If you have any questions, pop them in the comments below. Let's go through what we've got so far. So a mini garden tour, if you will. Let's see what all of our hard work was. The thing behind me is just a pallet that's kind of been redone a little bit. My father-in-law took some 2x4s and then went in and took some pieces of pallet, if I'm not mistaken. He just kind of sawzalled them off and then screwed them on. So it's just a repurposed pallet. You can really use anything you want. It's gardening is, if you have something that'll hold dirt, then do it. You can do it in potato sacks. You can do it in, I've seen people use like super thick tights. You can do it in that. If you have a vessel, you can grow food in it. Pretty easy stuff. So I'm going to turn you around and I'm going to tell you about what's going on. All right, so added from the store to the garden, we've got Mexican tarragon here. We've got sweet mint. That's going to be super fun. That's going to make some delicious tea. I love mint. Grow mint. If you can't grow anything, grow mint. Let's see, bee balm. I'm so excited about the pollinators that's going to bring. It's an amazing tea as well. Any of my tea lovers want to second that? All right, so lavender. I didn't really talk much about lavender. This is my second favorite. I use this essential oil multiple times a day, every single day. Every day. It goes in my diffusers. It's an amazing antihistamine. Like, this is where it's at. However, full disclosure, guys, like we're in the trust tree, right? I kill lavender every single year. So let's say a little prayer that this one survives the season. And so I've not grown it in this before. I usually keep it in its little pot. I'm going to see what doing it in this is like. I may have to kind of uproot it and put it in a bigger pot. I don't know. We'll see. If you guys have suggestions, pop them down below, because I've never been successful at growing this. So just because I grow a lot of things doesn't mean they all work out. I think that's the fun thing about gardening, is that you can really kind of mess up sometimes, and there's a lot of forgiveness. Lemon balm, I've gone on and on about that. We won't do that anymore. English thyme. One thing I didn't mention about the English thyme is that you can also plant this in between like your stepping stones, and you can cut it real low. When you step on it, it's going to make a really, really nice fragrance. We've got the transplanted mint here. I need to come back in, I think, with some more dirt. I forgot to... That's just, there we go. I forgot to put that down. And then we've got our sage. This is really good if you steep it. This is great for coughs and colds as well. It's got a nice, let me see. How can I describe this? It's like sage. It is, I don't want to call it pungent because it's not quite pungent, but there's definitely a little bit will do you on this plant too. It's just super medicinal, and I think you'll really love it. Look up the benefits too. This is just your regular garden sage. So nothing special here. It's gonna grow too. I'll prune it just like the other because I want it to bush out. And maybe one that I have to pull up and split too. I've used this planter for a transplant bed too because it doesn't get total sun. So I really like it for my lettuces and my spinaches and stuff like that. You can do so much in a bed like this. Like this is just, I have a teeny little patio and this just pops up on the patio. I mean, super, super awesome. So all of this stuff can be made into tea. Now right here, I picked up 2 more hibiscus because I lost those in the freeze. You can see, let's see, what am I drinking today? I've got green tea with a couple of scoops of matcha and the pineapple ginger syrup that they use, and it's really good. Let's see, and then so I picked up these today. I've already gotten the dirt and the mulch. These are those really nice draining pots, and then they've got kind of a self-watering capability to them. So you can water these every couple of days. I don't have to worry about setting them up on the sprinkler. This one will get sprinkler from the garden over here, and then this one over here, I may be able to run some tubing to that. If I go out of town, what I'll do is I'll move both of these into one of the main garden beds that has the sprinklers, and then I don't have to worry about having anybody come over into water. Also, I forget to water all the time, so I have to set up automatic sprinklers or else everything will die. Now, in the tea garden, not only the hibiscus flowers, we are going to use every bit of this too. We've got the different kinds of mint. Raspberry leaf tea is amazing. And you can see, like, this did not die in the freeze. We cut this down. It was all the way out into the garden to like right, let's see, here. We cut it all the way back, and you can see it's coming up. I'm even having to pull up because these do the runner thing too. So I will have raspberries shooting up in this whole garden. But you're getting, like I said, a little sneak peek at that irrigation too. And then you can also use blueberry and blueberry leaves in tea. I didn't know if you knew that or not. This one is starting to do its thing. I just fertilized it the other day. It was starting to turn. I think whenever I transplanted it, I just needed to pop it in with some more fertilizer. So we're just going to keep hitting it until she gets nice and green again. But we're getting there. It's doing good. We're getting new growth. I've got more leaves on here than I did. I thought this was a goner as well, and it wasn't. The garden has a tendency to surprise you occasionally. I am super excited about this. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any episodes that you want me to shoot, or if you're curious about anything, pop a question down below, or pop a suggestion into what you guys want to see. I want to make sure I'm creating content that's valuable to you. Again, like, subscribe, share this with a friend. I hope you are having a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.